Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the More Analytics Afternoon Energy Podcast for September 5th. I'm going to start off with the natural gas. The rally back today. We've just been chopping up sideways here. We were bearish from more recently the trade below 228.10. We're under pressure. We saw 260 ticks down into here, and then we've been breaking back up. If we break above this line right here, decently on the upside, which is going to come in at 225.50. minus 0.5 of a tick per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will project this upward 150 ticks minimum. And if we break above this higher formation up here, which comes in at 233.90, minus 0.3 of a tick per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m., that will project this upward 350 ticks. However, I prefer to see that rejected off of first before we break above it. To give it added confirmation. If this rolls over and takes out this formation down below, which comes in at 213.10 plus 0.5 of a tick per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that will project this downward 150 ticks. Okay, the crude oil still sliding lower. We're bearish from many levels up here. I'm not going to get into all those. Just more recently, the break below 80.82. It brought in 11.98 coming into today, and then the trade below 71.99 has brought in 3.15. The pressure down into here. If we were to break back up above this line right here, that's going to warrant decent strength. That's going to come in at 72.11 or 72.12 plus 0.2 of a tick per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, I would note we're going to roll over into RBOB. The RBOB broke below a key area today. I mentioned the other day that the heating oil had broken below a certain part of its structure that said it had more longevity to the downside. And then today also, the RBOB followed suit, as I warned yesterday, and it broke below its level as well that suggests it has additional longevity to the downside, which I would think would also spill over into the crude. So we'll jump over into the RBOB. Or unleaded gasoline. Not going to get into all the bearish levels from above, but more recently, the trade below 207.19 projects us down with 5 cents minimum, 23 cents plus maximum. We had attained 12.64 of that, 12.64 cents of that coming into today, and then a little bit more trading down to 191.41. And like I said here, failing back below here warns of additional pressure. And these will be just negated altogether. This would really have to rally to take these out up here to get bullish, and I don't see that happening overnight. Okay, the heating oil. A maintain gap higher tomorrow would be bullish in there. Oh, I want to point out one other thing. Actually, never mind. Okay. So the heat, we've been bearish from a number of different levels up above. More recently, the trade below 243.64 has brought in 28.64 cents of pressure. Trade below 240.08 has brought in another 25 plus, and on 827 we left a bearish reversal above. We'd come off 1932 from that. Trade below 232.21 has brought in 1721 of pressure. If we break back above this formation right here, though, I'd be out of all shorts for the time being. That's going to come in at 223.67 minus 0.5 of a tick per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and the Brent. I won't get into the higher level bearish projections, but just more recently, he'd held exhaustion with a 92.18 high, rolled over $19.83. Trade below 75.53 is brought in 318 of pressure. If we were to break back above this line, I'd be out of all shorts and I'd be long, looking for decent short covering for days. That's going to come in at 75.62 plus 0.1 of a tick per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and in the gas oil, been bearish from multiple levels up above, but more recently, the failure below 747 it's brought in 77.75 of pressure. And decent trade above this formation right here will warrant of decent strength. That's going to come in at 679.76 minus 4 per hour starting at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this would also be a bullish formation too if we got up there, but I doubt we're going to see that overnight. And just for the cadence going into tomorrow, the RBOB is the weakest out of the three, and the heating oil the strongest out of the three, and the crude oil in the middle. These have been chopping around quite a bit as the RBOB to heat has had some big swings in here. Very rare to see this many big swings with that level of volatility in such a short period of time. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good evening, and I'll see you on tomorrow's podcast.